All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Next Possession Sports Podcast. We got the three of us in the building today. What's going on, everybody?
What up, what up, what up?
All three of us.
Yeah, man, all three of y'all. But yeah, man, we back. We wanted to, sports is gearing back up. Hopefully, obviously COVID is still causing some issues. So we'll see if everything can kind of get going off to a smooth start. But baseball the MLB is scheduled to come back July 23rd, 24th. We got the NBA scheduled to come back July 31st. And we got some other big news. Cam going to the Patriots. So we just want to kind of, come here and get all of our thoughts with everything. And Kamal, take it away.
All right. So let's say the best one for last. So first, let's kick it off with the NBA. So as we know, we're about to gear back up. We're about to have a different format. They're gonna be in the bubble in Orlando. So what do you think about the new format for the restart?
Man, Brad, I'm gonna let you kick it off, man, because I got some sleeper picks for some things. 5 teams I think is gonna benefit from the bubble, but I want to hear your take first. Yeah,
I mean, as far as the format goes, it's definitely gonna be nice to have it back. They got to try to get them to gear up and get ready for that playoff push. So everyone is going to be playing an 8 games based off of what would have been their remaining schedule. With the teams that are remaining, 22 of the 30 teams will be in the bubble playing. 8 teams will not, and the NBA is going to allow them to kind of train during this time together in the offseason, since all these teams are playing. But you'll have 9 teams from the East and 13 teams from the West. One of the interesting things, especially with it only being an 8-game rest of the regular season, so to speak, in the West you have about, between that 7, 8, and 13 seed, you have only about 4 games separating those teams. What the NBA is doing is they're allowing basically if the 9th seed is within 4 games of the 8th place seed, and this is within either conference, the NBA is going to have a play-in series to determine the 8th seed. And a lot of people a lot of people thought that this is kind of the Zion Williamson rule to try to get Zion into the playoffs. But I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting because that play-in series, what it will be is basically whoever the 9th seed is, they will have to win 2 games, but if they lose 1, they're automatically out. So it's kind of like a 3-game series with the 8th seed starting at 1-0. So like I said, it'll basically be a 2-game series, but for that 9th seed, it's a single elimination. So that's going to be very interesting to see who gets that 9th seed. Currently in the West, the way it's seeded, you have the Grizzlies in the 8th seed right now. In the 9th seed, you have the Trailblazers, who will be 3.5 games out of 8th place, as well as the Pelicans, who are 3.5 games out of 8th place. Also, the Sacramento Kings are 3.5 games out of 8th place. The Spurs, who will be missing players for this stretch, are 4 games out. And the Suns are 6 games out of the 8th seed. The other interesting thing is the tiebreaker after the 8 games for any seeding reasons will be winning percentage. And the fact that the Trailblazers have played 2 more games than the Pelicans, that will weigh heavily in favor of the Trailblazers. But it's like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this 8-game kind of sprint to the playoffs go, and not just for those bottom teams, but also for the top teams to see how are teams going to possibly jockey for position. Are teams not worried about who they play in home court because there is no true home court, or are teams still going to try to jockey to try to avoid playing for the Sixers, for example, to stay where they're at 6, so that they can avoid playing a Milwaukee Bucks.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm loving what's going on. I'm excited to see this format come to pass. A lot of things I've been listening to. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of other people's talk on the way into work in the morning. And I know one thing I'm excited about is seeing how possibly we could see John Morant or Zion Williamson in the playoffs. You know, at the end of the day, the NBA says we got to get these superstars and maximize all this money that we've lost, trying to figure out a way to get them in there. You can call it what you want to call it. I think it is a Zion Williamson rule as well. But one thing I'm concerned about is you know, this bubble. And everybody says, you know, all these experts are also saying it's the safest place for them to be. But I really didn't realize just how much this was going to be. They're actually going to try to attempt to really finish the season. At first, I thought it was just a short and little brief period, much like the MLB, just going to separate a few games and then pick up from there. No, they're actually going to try to finish this whole entire season, and then the playoffs will start in October. I'm concerned because the moment big-name stars get sick with COVID, a Giannis, LeBron James, anybody that's really major, right? How's that going to change anything moving forward? That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I'm interested to see. I don't know if they're prepared for that. You know, this is all set upon, you know, everyone getting back into the nature of things of, you know, playing again. I even like the fact that they're talking about not stopping the movement of Black Lives Matter, and they're talking about putting the names on the back of the jerseys. They're even thinking about putting causes on different things on the back of the jerseys. Chris Paul has been really proactive with, you know, talking to the commissioner about not stopping this thing. They're even talking about putting Black Lives Matter on the court in Orlando. I think that's super dope, man. Super excited about that too. But I think that, you know, this format has really helped out with the rest, and there have been some teams that are really going to benefit from this. Have you guys seen Marc Gasol lately? Like, have you really gone on Google and looked at Marc Gasol in the Toronto Raptors? My man has lost mad weight. My man is in the gym looking like Khal Drogo right now from, like, Game of Thrones. I'm serious. Like, these guys, like my Celtics, I love my Celtics. They were injury-ridden. You know, they were injury-ridden. Now everybody's healthy. I don't know really who's going to win or not. And I've never really been so more excited to watch basketball than now because everyone is really getting a fair slate. It doesn't matter if you're a 9th seed on the bubble, on the 8th seed on the bubble. It really doesn't matter. Everybody's had a chance to be healthy. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to
work. So how do y'all feel about players potentially contacting COVID? Also, some of the players who choosing to sit out.
I mean, you know, like Avery Bradley said, you know, he's saying he did it for Black Lives Matter. There are a lot of players. I think forgive me, his last name is Dinwiddie. Plays for the
Spencer,
for the Nets. Mm-hmm. He was like, you know, he wants to do it for his family. His grandmother, of course, has underlying conditions. You know, there's going to be a lot of players who got a respectable reason. And the NBA is saying they're not going to I don't know if it's true or not. They're not docking them pay. I don't know if that's true.
I believe they are. They're not penalizing them, but they will not be paid.
Okay.
If they're not reporting and, you know, obviously, like, they're healthy and things of that nature. If I'm not mistaken, like you said, but you know, that for the players choosing to sit out, you know, I think everybody has to make the best choice decision for where they are in their life, what's going on for them right now. And as far as, you know, players potentially contracting it while in the bubble, that's going to be one to watch for players who are, you know, the NBA has tested a lot of players now, everybody getting back into their facilities to see what everything is and to try to be able to quarantine as best as possible before everyone gets to Orlando. Because once you're in a bubble, you're in a bubble. You know, I think the biggest thing is going to be, can these players be in the bubble for that long without outside contact? You know, are they going to try to sneak anybody in to the bubble, whether it be wife, girlfriend, you know, whoever. I did find it interesting that I found it interesting, and I also found it a little offsetting that you know, the commissioner will be entering and exiting the bubble. He has a special clause to be able to do so. And I don't think that should kind of be allowed if you're forcing everybody to be there. If you're going to be commissioner, you're saying, if you're going to be there the whole time, be there the whole time. If you're saying, I'm going to show up late, I'm going to show up for the playoffs, all right, then come for the playoffs. But for him to kind of have this this kind of one-off privilege to be able to leave and exit. I don't want to, at will or whatever else he has going on. I find that kind of odd and potentially, could cause for, some COVID cases depending on what he's doing and things of that nature. So that's what I find kind of a little weird about the whole bubble situation.
He's been hanging around with Roger Goodell. That's something Roger Goodell do.
Uh-huh.
I think it's interesting that there's what they call the snitch line that they're going to be able to call in and anonymously report people who are not participating in the bubble and the restrictions they're supposed to be doing. And I'm pretty sure that snitch line is going to blow up like, with a red light every other Friday, man, or every other day, to get an advantage on people, because there's going to be repercussions. Apparently there are these rules, or if you're breaking curfew or if you're not adhering to the social distancing, you won't play and you will be docked pay and be fined. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure people are going to be on that snitch line regardless of what they say they're not going to be, but it's in place for a reason and it's going to blow up.
And
so I'm interested to see that.
If any player is suspended, they're basically being sent back to their hotel rooms on punishment, not being able to leave their hotel room. So if there's a fight or anything like that, they're being sent on punishment by the NBA. So I don't expect to see, the NBA doesn't have many anyway, but I don't really kind of expect to see tempers kind of flare up to the point where people will have those suspensions, especially under these conditions.
Yeah.
Mm. So who do you think benefit most from this?
Like what teams?
Yeah. What teams?
Oh man, like I said, man, the Celtics. The Celtics were third in the East. At the time everything stopped, they were in the top 5 in offense and defense as well. And this was all with, Kemba Walker being injured, Jason Tatum playing playing with some injuries as well. Now everybody's healthy. I think that the biggest team that's really going to benefit from this is a sleeper team. Believe it or not, like I said, I think the Raptors are really going to surprise some people, man. I really didn't realize until I heard on Mike and Mike just how fit Kyle Lowry and Marc Gasol were. Them dudes have been in the gym, been definitely adhering to social distancing, and they've been benefiting from actually working out. Marc Gasol looks like he's aged backwards like Benjamin Button. I swear, man. He looks like a mammoth of a man. He does not look the same. I'm interested to see how that's going to be. They didn't really have a lot of injuries like that. They just got really better and being more cohesive. I also think that what other team? The Sixers, man. The Sixers were already good anyway. They had some injuries. They got depth as well. They're gonna blow it up in the East, man. They're gonna blow it up. I believe it's either gonna be the Bucks or the Sixers coming out the East. The Boston Celtics are gonna give a push, but the West is what I'm interested in seeing. I want to see King James get into the finals, but I cannot go against Kawhi and the Clippers and Paul George now being back fully healthy. I think that they got defense, man. They got a depth. They got a bench. Their bench can play starting 5 on some NBA teams and could make the playoffs. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be interesting, though. I think it's going to be really fun to see in these Eastern teams that are there. It's a toss-up.
So my 3 teams, I'll start with the Lakers. I think for kind of obvious reasons, LeBron James is the elder statesman in the NBA. So
it's crazy.
He's the NBA's Vendell Brooks.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. So for him to be able to have this time period off, because he's not somebody who missed a ton of games. Yes, he does load management, but when he's out there, he's playing a lot of minutes. So for him to be able to kind of have this time to rest before a playoff push, I think is huge. Also, Anthony Davis, who's someone who also has been injury ridden, in his career, he's had his kind of bumps and bruises, and for him to also kind of now be fully healthy going into this push. The Lakers do lose Avery Bradley, who is sitting out, but they did recently just sign J.R. Smith, who I think could be added, could be definitely a big addition to help them as far as scoring somebody for LeBron to be able to kick it out to on the wing. So I definitely think the Lakers, just for that health and rest, that's for the best player, in the NBA, arguably right now. So that's one. Two, to me, is the Houston Rockets.
Ooh.
And I don't think a lot of people will expect me to come in here and say the Houston Rockets, but the reason why I'm going to is James Harden, for the past few years, has always been somebody who's been considered to have kind of hit that wall in the playoffs, and to kind of have gotten fatigued later into the playoffs. So for him now to be able to go into this playoff run fresh, as well with the Russell Westbrook, I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Can a fresh James Harden and the way they play small ball, potentially, match up with the Clippers in the second round and give them a push and take them for everything they have. So that's going to be one that's going to be something that's going to be fun to watch. And lastly, for me, it's the 76ers. And we all know Embiid and his injury history. You have Ben Simmons, who've been dealing with some things this year. So you get everybody healthy there. But the big reason for me, not health, as it is maybe for some other teams, and like with James Harden being able to kind of lose weight the same way Vendel was talking about with Marc Gasol. But with the Sixers, for me, is they struggled on the road. They were very good at home. They struggled on the road. There's no true road atmosphere now. So does that benefit them more than anybody else? Because now you have a team that doesn't have to worry about going into someone else's arena, have to worry about that travel, whatever was getting into their mindset when they played on the road. Now they can say, hey, all these games are neutral. And if it's neutral, does that benefit them even more to be able to take the talent that they have, which is, top talent in the NBA? We're talking about, from a team standpoint, especially a starting five standpoint, and get into the finals. You know what I mean? Push the Bucks. So that's gonna be one fun to watch. If they stay in that 6th seed, they will be able to kind of dodge Milwaukee until the finals. If they hop up into that 5th or 4th seed, then they win that first round of playoffs. They're gonna have to play Milwaukee in the second round. So I want to see kind of how they handle it, because they also have an easy, kind of one of the easier 8-game schedules for this, finish the rest of the season stretch. So that's what I'm watching for.
Gotcha.
All right. So let's transition to Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Again, starting back up. So
I'm excited, man.
So tell me how you feel about the 60-game season.
You know what? I kind of liken it to the NBA 99 season when they had the lockout year. They played, I think, 50 games. And that 50 games in the NBA was a race to the finish line. That was one of the more exciting kind of seasons to watch. Every game felt a little more impactful. You didn't have those extra 32 games to make up. And cutting the baseball season down from 162 to 60, that's going to be a lot of games. Everything's going to be so much more crucial. As your starter pitchers, are they going to try to push to actually go, on to kind of skip that normal rest day that they would have had in a long season, so that they can try to, get more starts out of them. Your younger teams, are they going to kind of shoot out early and kind of keep a lead, and maybe you have some surprise teams get into the playoffs because they don't have to worry about the long stretch, long grueling, the dog days of summer and like the long 182 games, and worrying about getting out to a lead early and losing it because those veteran teams had so many games to try to make it up. So I think it's going to be a fun season to kind of pay attention to, as far as the race, with every game kind of meaning so much more than it normally does.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I'm excited about is I heard today that there's not going to be any minor leagues now. There is no minor league season. And so because of that, of course, these rosters are going to be expanded as much as they can. and you're basically going to call up all this young talent to the major leagues, and we're going to have a chance to see people that we normally wouldn't get to see. And yeah, it'll be for experience mostly as well, but just the mere chance of seeing a pitcher that you would never have a chance to see because they were in somebody's AAA ball. I live here in Winston-Salem. I love watching the Winston-Salem Dash, and I see a lot of players here get called up quickly, and these are like household names locally. Now we're going to see some young talent that we never would have had a chance to see before. Also, too, the new rules and stuff. And I think, Brad, maybe you can touch on this a little more in depth about possible things that they're going to do, like the way they're going to do the format, about how they're going to adopt some things in the National League, right, as well.
Mm-hmm.
About the is it a designated hitter?
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about more offense, right? Back in the day, you used to say chicks dig the long ball, right? They're going to hit out so many home runs. It's going to be all about scoring. Baseball is going to be cool to watch. I love baseball. I know you love baseball. Honestly, baseball was my favorite sport growing up. And for some people, they don't really know how good they have it until it's gone. And when baseball comes back on, you're going to have a whole new demographic of people to watch sports, and they're going to love baseball. And I'm loving what they're going to try to do to make it more fascinating as well. So I'm hoping they're also adopting some of the things that's happening over in Korea right now, where everybody comes up with their own song and stuff. Just little things is kind of cool, man, about that. I've been watching this K-pop baseball, man, early in the morning before I go to work, and it's been exciting to watch. So I'm excited about baseball right now, man.
Hey, Vendel, why you close your eyes when you're making the point?
Look, man, listen to me. Listen, I don't even know if my eyes are open or not from time to time, man. You know what I'm saying? So.
But
all right, so go ahead, Brad.
yeah, so I guess I'll touch on some of the rule changes that Vendel was kind of mentioning earlier. The Major League Baseball will do, the AL always has a designated hitter, but they do not have it in the NL. So for this season, they will be having the NL also use a designated hitter for all games, as well as in extra innings, they will be starting with a runner on second base to start the inning. So this is also kind of speed up those extra inning games to kind of avoid kind of having those 18 inning games and super long games to try to speed it up. The runner starting on second has actually been done in the minor leagues. In the extra innings, and that has sped up, some games, as well as some other things that they have been doing in a minor league, as far as like a pitch clock for pitchers to be, to have to be able to, throw a pitch within so many seconds of the last one. But the extra runner, so who's ever leading off that inning, the runner the batter that preceded him will be the one that starts on second base, unless they decide to use a pinch runner. So, that's just a new twist that we haven't seen in Major League Baseball in regards to that extra inning. To try to generate runs. We know a base hitting single can normally bring in a run from second base, so it's going to be definitely put more pressure on those relief pitchers, those closers, in those key stretches, and hopefully kind of lead to some exciting finishes down the stretch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. So last topic, most controversial one. Cameron Newton, the New England Patriots.
It's blasphemy.
I want to start and say I'm happy for Cam.
Yeah, I'm happy for Cam.
I want to say first off and say I'm happy for Cam. I'm happy he's going to be starting NFL in 2020. I'm happy he got an offer, and I'm happy he accepted it. Regarding the offer, some people were upset about the structuring of the contract.
Yeah.
And why a former MVP is getting a $1 million base contract with incentives only to make up the 7.5, but you have journeyman guys getting $15 million. You have backups in the league. Marcus Mariota, for one, making $7 million base, or I believe he's going to count for like $9 million against the cap in Oakland. So I get it. you know,
Speak on this real quick. I'll let you get back to your point. I saw this today that Chase Daniels is making more than Cam Newton and Jameis combined.
So I want to
combine.
I want to talk about that meme because the meme is misleading.
Is it?
Oh.
Chase Daniels. There is a backup making more than both of them combined.
Chase Daniels has a contract for $13 million. The contract is spread out over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So in the NFL, that's not a fully guaranteed contract. We don't even know if he'll see years 2 and 3. So you're talking about $3 to $4 million a year. If Cam makes his 7, that's not more than what they're making combined. So it's a little bit misleading of how that's being presented.
So, I'll say this to it. First of all, I agree. I'm very excited for Cam Newton on a lot of levels. As my quarterback, I always love seeing us do well. As black quarterback. Stop, man. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. But
why you not looking at the camera? You about to cry.
Stop, man. But I'm gonna say to this point, at just how smart Bill Belichick is as mastering the cap. A lot of people were upset about how he was offered that contract. But the New England Patriots were so cap stricken that was literally all they could offer was the minimum, was the league minimum.
Correct.
And then on that, on the flip side of it, it's a win-win. If he performs, right? It's Cam Newton. If he doesn't perform, and I think it's in there, if for some reason he doesn't play or start 4 games, he gets a draft pick back or something. It's something like he gets to get something back. I saw something somewhere. I don't know the details on it. I'm trying to Google it as I'm talking to you guys now. But basically, if he does, it's something in the contract. If he doesn't meet certain incentives, he can qualify to get some type of compensatory pick. So if he plays well, great. If he doesn't play well, it's not a guaranteed contract. It's not going to hit them in the head, and they could possibly try to get a compensatory pick. So it's very smart from a business standpoint.
This is what I'll say. Before I give the Patriots too much credit for pulling this off. Obviously, when Brady first left, a lot of people kind of penciled the Patriots in as a place for Cam Newton to go. Mm-hmm. Yes, they did not have a lot of cap space, even after his $1 million salary. The Patriots only have $1.8 million left in the cap.
Correct.
But yes, they do not have a lot of money. Yes, the Patriots have been known to pull off great deals in the past. But obviously, like the Patriots right now have the most dead money. They had the 3rd most dead money against the cap out of all the teams in the league going into this offseason. A large portion of that being from Tom Brady, another $4.5 million being for Antonio Brown. So they have some, dead cap issues. And what helped them make this deal work is the fact that there weren't a lot of other landing spots for Cam Newton because of how the Carolina Panthers prolonged releasing him.
Correct.
They waited until after the draft. They waited until after a lot of the free agency spots were actually already signed, and teams kind of addressed their quarterback situation and had already gotten comfortable with how they were going to enter the 2020 season. And then they released Cam Newton to say, okay, now go try to find a landing spot. So yes, the Patriots were able to get him at a great deal. It allows Cam Newton to kind of go there on a 1-year deal, prove it, and be able to get paid next year. If the Patriots is the team that decides they want to keep him, the Patriots will have over $100 million in cap space next year.
Correct.
So he'll have a chance to get paid, and if he decides they still want to be cheap and they don't want to pay a lot for the quarterback position, then he'll have his chance to go elsewhere because other teams will have a need for quarterback as they do every year, and they won't have to worry about he had surgery. He had two surgeries on his shoulder, and he had the Liz Frank injury on his foot, and he's a mobile quarterback. Like all those questions that they try to say are the reasons for why he wasn't able to sign for a big deal will all be put to bed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
So I'm gonna get off semantics and get the performance.
Yes.
If Cam Newton can somewhat recapture his MVP conversation almost 2 years ago, if he can somehow still recapture that, and I'm gonna say one thing that he has right now. Well, I can say a few things, but one glaring thing that he has right now that he never had in Carolina was
Offensive
line.
Offensive
line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Offensive line,
yeah.
and now he does have a competent offensive coordinator. On that offense, the only thing that's a question mark is a receiving core outside of Julian Edelman. I mean, you got N'Keal Harry, who is a really good prospect coming out. He did battle some injuries. You got Muhammad Sanu, who's serviceable.
Yeah.
They get the most on N'Keal Harry. There's a huge hole at tight end now. But I mean, but you know, but people know how to coach Cam Newton. Well, I say not coach him, but they know like the works for him. You know, run the ball and have a good defense. That's exactly what the Patriots do.
Exactly.
Yes,
I'm talking about, man, you're talking about the Patriots have the best running back room in the NFL. And you're talking about an RPO offense. Josh McDaniel knows what he's doing. This is the same guy who drafted Tim Tebow. And I'm not saying that Tim Tebow was great. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the skill set of what Josh McDaniels could utilize with a Cam Newton, who's way better than Tim Tebow. You're talking about now I feel bad for the defensive coordinators in the AFC East who just knew they had a chance that this year they could probably jump over and get out of limbo and try to win a division. Now you have to rip up all your plans and try to figure out how am I going to tackle Cam Newton if Cam Newton turns out to be Cam Newton again. And so you're talking about, granted, they don't have the best outside weapons, but if you get Cam Newton in space, if he is even half of what he was, New England has never had that. And at the end of the day, New England is still New England. You're talking about some of the best minds in football. He will get everything out of Cam Newton. And, and Josh McDaniels will get everything out of Cam Newton. And he will actually pretty much develop as a better quarterback than he ever could have in Carolina. I'm very happy for him. He's finally getting a competent coaching staff that's going to develop him and utilize his skill set and develop him the way he should be developed. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. I really hope that he doesn't get rushed back too soon with a chip on his shoulder to try to prove too much to everybody. I want Cam to ease in. I don't want Jarrett Stidham getting comfortable, but I don't want Cam Newton trying to say, hey, young buck, I got this, and then gets hurt again. It's for nothing. But I'm excited to see what they do.
What I want to say, pass whatever's in your cup if you think they got the best running back room.
They do. They do. They do, bro. They do. Look at their from starting to fourth string, bro. They have a very good running back room.
Okay, so they have. I get it. They, so Sony Michel, James White. They got Brandon Bolden, Rex Burkhead. That's a very good room. Damian Harris, if you want to add him, I get it.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit here and tell me that you wouldn't trade all four of those for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
I get that, but that's a room versus one player. I just named two actually. Well, I'm okay. Again, I'm talking about as a group of players.
Yes, exactly. Or the Broncos who have Philip Lindsay, obviously Melvin Gordon and Royce Freeman.
Oh, I forgot about
like we can talk about
that drink in my cup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So pass your drink over is all I'm saying.
Let me retract my statement.
You're saying they have a good run game.
No, the New England Patriots have always been able to do the most with less than anybody else in the NFL. Speaking
about doing the most with less, this is what I'll say. This is what I say about doing the most with less. In 2015, the Panthers go to the Super Bowl. The 2015 season, playing the Super Bowl 2016 versus the Broncos. Yeah. That year, Cam Newton had very little at wide receiver.
Right.
That was after Steve Smith had left. I believe,
Greg Olsen led the team in receiving and
Greg
yards.
Greg Olsen led the team in receiving with 1,100 yards.
Right.
So to say that they don't have a great wide receiving core, which is true. Cam has done it with a not so good wide receiving core and has gone 15-1, and that was also with the help of a run game and a strong defense, which to what Kamal has pointed to earlier, the Patriots do have with the good offensive line. They'll be able to run the ball with Sony Michel, James White, and the other people that they can put into the backfield. They have a good defense, so they're going to be in games. And I like N'Keal Harry. I thought N'Keal Harry arguably was the best receiver in his class, and the Patriots stole him with the pick.
He was the first wide receiver. Was he the first wide receiver drafted, even though he was later in the first round?
I don't believe so, but I still think that he was. He was arguably one of the best in that class. Obviously,
he was. Yeah,
you have Metcalf and you have other players in that draft class, but I really like N'Keal Harry coming out of college. So him being healthy going into the season, they still have Edelman, Sanu being a potential number 2. If N'Keal Harry can make that step up, I think that gives him enough on the outside to be able to do well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I do. I agree with that. They're gonna if they don't win the division, they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm gonna just say that right now with a healthy Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. I thought they were gonna make the playoffs with a Jarrett Stidham just because it's the Patriots. I mean, that's just who they are. They're gonna win. Their culture, they're gonna win. I hate them, but I hate them because of how good they are, and that's why I hate them.
And Hollywood Brown was drafted ahead of N'Keal Harry.
Right, that's right. So he was at the Ravens. That's right, and then he went after that. That's right. Got you.
Yeah, so that's very interesting move to see. You got a quarterback who is a winner going to a team that is a winner. And I will say this about Cam Newton. Cam Newton get coaches fired. Gene Chizik and Ron Rivera both lost their job after he left.
I don't think nobody else getting fired, bro. I don't think my man's getting fired.
I mean, Belichick may retire.
Yeah, he may retire, but he ain't getting fired. No,
I was saying that just to see. Just the impact that Cam Newton always has, despite him always being slighted as a quarterback.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think he's going to prove a lot of people. He's going to probably be. So I think that Cam Newton's going to definitely be leading candidate for comeback player of the year this year. With everything he went through, with all the doubters and stuff, even if he just has a resemblance of a shred of his former self, if he has a 3,500-yard season with 20 touchdowns and they make the playoffs, he's going to win comeback player of the year. Cam Newton definitely makes that team a contender. Regardless of what anybody else says, Cam Newton has always been the largest quarterback in the NFL since he came in the NFL, and not just in size and stature, but in the way he plays his game as well. And so I'm excited to see what he does. I'm cheering him on. The biggest slap in the face as a Panthers fan is to see a Panther in a Patriots uniform. And I never thought in my wildest dreams I would see Cam Newton in a Patriots uniform, but here it is, and I will be cheering him on from the sideline until he plays us, if he plays us. But yeah, so
I'm gonna tell you something. Obviously, I went to school in North Carolina A&T. Shout out to the Aggies. Kamal's living in Charlotte. That's where I know you guys from. So I know a lot of Panthers fans due to me going to school in Carolina, and I think there was a split between Carolina fans. I want to say over the past couple of years where I was half of Carolina fans, really still like Cam Newton and understood, some of the things that was set up against him to kind of fail in Carolina. Then you have the other half of Carolina fans who has dogged Cam Newton, and now he's going to the Patriots, a team all Carolina Panthers fans do not like, cannot stand, which is hilarious to me. I mean, I don't understand why the Panthers fans make the Patriots
I'll tell you what.
rival. No, hold on. I'll give you a chance. You can try to debate it. I get it. That was your first Super Bowl you guys went to. You guys lost. I just don't think you guys played them enough
We were cheated.
Listen. We only remember that Super Bowl for one reason. That was a Janet Jackson Super Bowl.
You come in, man. Yes.
But listen. The thing is, like I said, cheated. Everyone cries that all the time. Like I don't really care to I'm just like for that to be the sole reason for people to not like the Patriots. And
Patriots fans said the same thing when they lost to the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't hate the Broncos.
Yes.
I don't hate the Broncos.
And they don't hate the.
You're not the only Panthers fan. Is what I'm saying.
What I'm saying.
Everyone's saying they cheated.
But come out. The thing is, even with that, they don't hate the Broncos.
No.
People hate the Patriots because hating the Patriots are the cool thing to do. People do not like dynasties unless it's their own. Unless it's their own team. People generally do not like dynasties.
For me, I can just say for me, it has nothing to do with a dynasty. It really doesn't. Tom Brady, to me, is the greatest quarterback that's ever picked up football. And
it's jealous and hate. It's jealous and hate. Fans of those fan bases wish they could have the success that the Patriots have had.
But for me, it's just about the way I remember watching that game sophomore year, Aggie Suites, having a whole bunch of people over there watching the game, dog, and watching how Adam Vinatieri kicked my soul out my chest and kicked that field goal and won the game at the end of the game. I mean, it is disgusting. And that's when Tom Brady became Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? And
listen, I get it. All I can say is I'm going to enjoy Cam being in the Patriots uniform because all of you guys hate the Patriots to begin with, and half of you guys do not like Cam. And I think Cam has a great chance to have a great year, and it's going to be nice to see how those Panthers fans try to react or try to cover it up or whatever. Because half of those fans are going to try to act like they never said a bad word about Cam when he starts playing well. So
right.
How fans are, and because I know so many, it's going to be very entertaining to watch. Very entertaining to watch.
It's going to turn. We should never let him go.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, the moment he starts doing well again, the Panthers is done for letting him go. If Matt Rule struggles, which we're going to struggle.
Yep, or be, look what happens if you give Cam an offensive line, and we should have did this, or that's the only reason why Cam didn't do well here, and it's going to be a lot of that, and especially when you guys have a team where you're bringing in all these college coaches, and you're going through a rebuild, and you guys might have another down year. It's not going to be fun when if you're watching your team rack up L's week after week, and you're watching
Cam Newton get these dubs.
Right.
I'm just gonna say this. I live in the same city as Cam Newton. Panthers fan, they don't deserve him.
Yeah.
These past 2 years, especially last year, they went
especially last year. Yeah, it's all good, man. At the end of the day, the Panthers have been notorious for, at the twilight of someone's career, going ahead and pulling the string and saying, goodbye Steve Smith, goodbye Thomas Davis, goodbye, a mutually part Greg Olsen, goodbye Cam Newton. I mean, dude, there was literally
Julius Peppers.
No, but listen.
Goodbye, Luke Kuechly.
When Amazon, no, he said goodbye to us.
Yeah, I know.
I would have too.
There was a cover of when Amazon followed, I think it was called All or Nothing, the season with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. There's a cover of all those players, and none of them are with the team anymore.
And that was just 2 years ago. It was just 2 years ago.
That was just 2 years ago.
And
crazy.
It was all of them, and now there's nothing. There's none of them. So
all or nothing.
Yep.
All or none. Yep. Yes. It's crazy, man. Foreshadowing, man. It's crazy. But yeah, man, I'm ready for these sports, man. I'm ready to see these sports. I'm ready to see what everything's going on. I'm ready to watch a lot of stuff.
Real quick, talking about ready to see these sports, pray to whoever y'all pray to. I know who I pray to, but the NFL did just announce that they're trimming their preseason games from 4 to 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think that's to give. I think that's that they have to push back, camp and to give teams a chance to get ready for the season. But if they're already starting to trim those games, you worry about, is it going to start to leak into the regular season? Are we going to start losing games from the actual NFL season? will we get a season? How are things going to happen with the NBA in the bubble? If they can't even play the NBA in the bubble, what are the chances teams are going to be able to travel state to state to actually play, in the MLB or in the NFL? So all these things are definitely stuff to look out for. There's also rumors, Mike Florio from Pro Football Focus, who broke the NFL preseason games, said that some teams are considering doing their traveling on game day, which and that again is to kind of avoid some of the having to go somewhere and having to find somewhere to stay and try to avoid a lot of coronavirus stuff. But I can tell you right now, players will not like that.
No, they won't.
Players
not
will hate that, and it may not be an every game thing. It may obviously it shouldn't, and you really can't see how it could be your coast to coast games. Any East Coast team going West Coast or West Coast team going East Coast. But even if it's just teams going from Florida to New York, for the Dolphins to go play the Jets, like even for them to have to travel same day, players are not going to like that. So it's just like I said. Hopefully, we're able to get some sports and we're able to have a full season. And I can deal with no NBA. I can deal with no MLB.
Can I deal with no football, dog?
I need the NFL, and I've already come to the realization and accept the fact that I don't think we're going to have a college football season.
Yeah, I don't think we will either.
So
if they trim any games, they can take away these Thursday night games. Me personally, I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't see college happening for a lot of reasons. Like the presidents is happening right now in California with the California state, schools like Cal State Fullerton, Fresno State. All the state schools have said they will not have collegiate sports in the fall. Mm-hmm. And so, if you're gonna have that, say that. How is that going to affect the Pac-12? How can UCLA and USC respond to that? Then if you have the marquee names in a conference not playing, how can you expect the other teams to play? And then how is that going to be a snowball effect everywhere else as well? So I've accepted the fact that I don't think that we're going to have any resemblance of a college football season. You have Clemson that has 38 players right now with COVID-19. So
South Carolina don't care. That's why South Carolina doesn't care. I live right near South Carolina. They don't care.
And so, I don't see it happening, man. I don't see it happening. Alabama outbreak right now too. I don't see it happening. So,
yeah. Well, fellas.
Well,
another one.
This weekend, Joey Chestnut and the hot dog contest on 4th of July. That's sports. No.
Yeah, no. So we're gonna wrap this up. And
hey.
Nah. So let's wrap another episode.
Nah, we don't know about the hot dog sports.
Chill out, yo. Let's go. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Let's. I open the door. Close the door. Close the door.
Hey man, hey. You walk right into that one.
Oh man.
All right, so another episode next week.
Yeah, I got a question. I got a question over there. Like, do you participate at home? Like, do you try to see if you do you try to compete? Like I don't know.
Watching TV,
yeah.
They got 6 hot dogs in 3 seconds.
Do you dip your hot dog buns in a cup of water at the same time they do? Like, I want to know. Like, what's your?
You be eating and jumping up and down too. You use the gravity.
Or do you just watch, rub your knee and hum?
This is Vendell Brooks from Next Possession Sports. It's been fun. We're gonna go ahead and cut this off.
It's been real, everybody. We appreciate y'all for another episode.
See you later.
Deuces. All right, we come back to y'all with more hot dogs next time.
Out of here, man.